Hello, English learners. Welcome back to the Daily English Listening Podcast, where we learn real English through real, everyday conversations. And today's episode is a B1 level episode. So if you are an intermediate learner, you are in exactly the right place. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Chris. We're really happy you're here with us today. Michelle, how are you today? Was it a busy day for you?
A little busy, yes. I was working this morning and I had a long meeting with a colleague, but I'm happy to sit down and talk with you now.
Same here. I spent a lot of time in front of my computer today, so it feels really nice to just relax and have this conversation with you and our listeners.
Yes, it's like we're all sitting around the same table, just talking together. Okay, before we start, we want to ask you for a small favor.
Yes, one quick tap on your screen and one big boost for our channel.
If you enjoy learning with us, please like this episode and subscribe to the Daily English Listening Podcast. It helps more learners discover us.
And we'd love it if you write a comment too. Just one simple sentence is already great, like, what's your name and where are you from?
We really enjoy getting to know our listeners, and when you write a comment, it's like giving your English a small workout. Your brain has to find the words and build the sentence. That makes your English stronger.
So even if you feel a little nervous, it's okay. One short sentence is already great practice. All right, let's talk about today's topic.
Today, we're going to help you with something important and sometimes a little scary: how to introduce yourself in English. Many learners tell us, I can answer questions like, where are you from or what do you do? But when someone says, so tell me about yourself, their brain freezes.
Yes, suddenly the mind is empty or too full.
So in this episode, we'll give you a clear structure and plenty of sentence options. We will also share our own full introductions at the end as real examples. And step by step, we'll show you different ways you can talk about each part of your life, so you can choose what sounds most natural for you.
Yes, step by step. But before we build it, we should understand why this skill matters.
Right. First, why is this skill so important? It's important because you use it all the time. When you meet a new classmate, a new coworker, your teacher, a neighbor, or someone online, they often say, tell me about yourself.
And not only in daily life, also in job interviews, language classes, when you travel, or at events like language exchanges.
And I remember one language exchange I joined. We sat in a circle, and the organizer said, okay, everyone will introduce themselves in English: name, country, job, hobbies.
I can feel the pressure already. Everyone is listening, waiting for you.
Yes, my turn was coming closer and closer. In my head, I was repeating, my name is Michelle, I'm from Mexico, I work in, and then something happened.
The brain stopped?
Completely. When everyone looked at me, my mind just went quiet. I said, my name is Michelle, I like cooking.
Well, cooking is always a safe answer. Nobody's going to disagree with that.
True. People smiled, so it was fine. But inside, I knew I could say so much more if I had a simple, clear structure ready.
I understand that feeling completely. I had a similar moment at a work event once. Someone I had just met asked, so what do you do? Tell me a bit about yourself. And in my head, I suddenly had too many things to say. My job, my hobbies, where I'm from, something funny that happened that week. Everything came at once.
So all the ideas arrived in one big cloud.
Yes, a big noisy cloud. And my answer jumped around a lot. I could see the person trying to follow me. After that, I thought, I really need a shorter, calmer way to talk about myself.
That's why we say your self-introduction is like a short film trailer about your life. When you know your trailer, you feel much more confident.
Mm-hmm. And remember, you don't need perfect English. You just need calm, clear sentences that come out naturally, even when you feel a little nervous.
Now, before we build this trailer, there's one important thing to keep in mind. There are 3 common situations where you introduce yourself.
3 situations.
Yes, sometimes it's informal, sometimes it's semi-formal, and sometimes it's very formal. Informal is when you're in a relaxed setting, like with friends, classmates, or someone you meet at a cafe or a social event. Nobody's expecting anything serious.
Semiformal is when it's friendly but also a bit professional, like a networking event, a conference, or meeting new teammates. People are warm and relaxed, but you still want to come across as polite and professional.
And formal is when the situation is very official, a job interview, a meeting with a manager. In those moments, the introduction is still simple, but your tone is more careful.
So the key is read the room first, then choose your style.
Yes, if you're sitting on a sofa chatting with a friend, you probably won't say, "Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance."
That would be a very uncomfortable sofa moment.
And in a job interview, "Hey, what's up?" is probably not the best way to start.
Yeah, keep that for the people you already know well. So pay attention to the atmosphere, look at the person, and then decide how informal or formal you want to be.
Let's start with the first part of any introduction, the greeting.
The greeting, the very first words you say.
For formal moments, keep it clean and simple. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. For example, in an interview, you can say, "Good morning, thank you for having me today."
Good morning, thank you for having me today. Polite, warm, and easy to remember.
For semi-formal situations, you can say, "Hi there," or just a friendly, "Hi, how are you doing?" Something that feels easy but still professional.
And for informal situations, with friends or people your age, you can say hi or hey there. Some people say what's up or how's it going, but always choose something that feels natural for you.
Natural for you, not just something that sounds cool. If you never say, "Yo, what's up?" in your own language, maybe don't start with that in English.
I tried hey guys once with a group of new colleagues at work. They looked at each other and then back at me like, is this person all right?
So don't surprise people too much with your greeting. Better idea, pick one greeting that feels comfortable and practice it until it comes out easily. For example, "Hi, nice to meet you." Simple, friendly, easy to say even when you're nervous.
After your greeting, the next step is your name. You can keep it very simple. I'm Chris, or my name is Michelle. You can also say, nice to meet you, I'm Chris, or hello, it's lovely to meet you, my name is Michelle.
I usually say, "Hi, I'm Michelle. Great to meet you." Short and easy.
I normally say, hey, I'm Chris, good to meet you, in an informal place. In a formal place, I say, hello, my name is Chris, it's a pleasure to meet you.
So our first mini script is, "Hi, I'm Michelle," or "Hello, my name is Michelle. Great to meet you." And of course, you don't have to be Michelle.
Please don't all be Michelle. Just use your own name, and you already have a solid opening.
Now let's add the next part, where you're from and where you live, your little life map.
You can start very simply. I'm from Canada, or I'm from Brazil, or I'm from Japan.
If you want to add the city, you say, "I'm from Vancouver in Canada," or "I'm from Sao Paulo in Brazil," or "I'm from Osaka in Japan." City plus country. Easy pattern.
And sometimes where you were born and where you live now are different places. Then you can say, I was born in a small city in Canada, but now I live in Barcelona. Or, I'm originally from Mexico, but I've been living in Miami for a few years.
You can also talk about time. "I've been living in Barcelona for 2 years," or "I've been in Miami since 2022.
If that feels like too much, keep it light. I'm from Canada, and I live in Barcelona. That's already a complete answer.
The important thing is that the other person gets a small, clear picture, where you started and where you are now, not a detailed biography, just a friendly map of your life.
So after your name and where you're from, people often ask, what do you do?
Yes, this question comes up everywhere. You can answer with, "I work as a marketing coordinator," or "I work as a nurse," or "I work as a sales assistant." All clear and easy to follow.
You can also mention the company or the team. For example, I work for a tech company in the customer support department, Or, I work for a hospital in the administration team.
Sometimes you don't want to name the company, then just talk about the field. I work in marketing, or I work in education, or I work in logistics.
And if you're studying, you can say, I'm a student. I study graphic design. Or, I'm studying business and I also work part-time.
While you listen, think about which sentence fits your life. Later, you can make your own version. For example, I'm from Mexico, I live in Miami, and I work in marketing.
After your job or studies, the next question is often about your family or your home.
Yes, people love to ask, who do you live with? Or do you live alone? You can answer simply, I live with my parents, or I live with my husband and our 2 kids, or I share a flat with a friend.
If you live alone, you can say, I live by myself in a small apartment near the city center. A flat is the same as an apartment, by the way.
People also ask about brothers and sisters. You can say, I have 1 older sister, or I have 2 younger brothers, or I have 1 brother and 1 sister.
And if you have no brothers or sisters, you say, I'm an only child. That means you are the only son or daughter in your family.
For example, I could say, I'm from Mexico, I live in Miami with my partner, and I have 1 younger sister back home.
And I could say, I'm from Canada, I live in Barcelona with a friend, and my family is still in Canada. I have 1 older brother.
You see, it's not a long story, just 1 or 2 simple sentences, and you don't have to share every detail in the first 5 minutes.
Right. Keep a little mystery. Just give a small, warm picture of who is close to you.
Now let's move to a more fun part, your hobbies and free time. This is where people start to really see your personality.
You can start with, in my free time, I like hiking. Or, in my free time, I enjoy cooking. Or, when I have some spare time, I go for long walks.
You can also say, I'm really into photography. I love going out on weekends with my camera. Or, I'm really into music. I enjoy discovering new artists.
Another good phrase is, I'm a big fan of. For example, I'm a big fan of jazz. Or, I'm a big fan of crime novels.
That last one tells people a lot about your evenings.
Yes, maybe a little too much. You can also add 1 or 2 things you enjoy and 1 thing you're not so fond of. That makes your introduction feel more human. For example, I love coffee and hiking, but I'm terrible at waking up early.
That is a very relatable thing to say.
It really is me. Small details like that make people feel like they already know a little bit about you.
And when you share a hobby, it gives the other person an easy way to keep the conversation going. Oh, where do you like to hike? What kind of music? What do you cook?
People also love to ask about your daily life.
Yes, you often hear, what does a typical day look like for you? Or what do you usually do during the week? And you don't need to describe every hour. Just give the rhythm of your day in 2 or 3 actions.
A nice way to start is, on weekdays I usually, or in the morning I normally. For example, on weekdays I usually wake up around 7, have breakfast, and start working from home.
Or, in the morning, I normally make coffee, check my messages, and begin work around 9.
You can also include your English practice. In the evenings, I usually listen to a podcast in English for about 20 minutes. Or after dinner, I often watch a series in English with subtitles.
So if someone asks, what does your day look like, you don't need a big answer. Just 1 or 2 of these sentences. That's already clear and interesting.
After your routine, sometimes people want to know what kind of person you are, not just what you do.
Yes, they might ask, are you more quiet or more talkative? Or how would you describe yourself? And you can answer with simple adjectives like friendly, calm, curious, patient, creative, hardworking, a bit shy, or easygoing.
For example, I'm a curious and fairly relaxed person.
Or, I'm a bit reserved at first, but I open up quite quickly once I feel comfortable.
You can also borrow other people's words. People tell me I'm easy to talk to, or my friends say I'm a good listener and very patient.
So imagine you're having coffee with a new colleague and they ask, are you more of a quiet person or do you talk a lot? You can say, I'm a bit quiet at the start, but once I get comfortable, I talk quite a bit. Or, I'm pretty open and I enjoy getting to know new people.
That gives them a nice, simple picture of who you are, beyond your job title.
And sometimes the conversation goes a little deeper and people ask about your future plans.
Yes, this usually happens when someone knows you a little better and asks, so what are your plans? Or why are you learning English? You don't need a full life plan, just one honest idea.
You can start with, in the future, I'd like to, or my goal is to, or one of my dreams is to, for example, in the future, I'd like to travel more and spend time living in different places. Or my goal is to feel more comfortable speaking English in professional situations.
You can also say, one of my dreams is to start something of my own one day. Or, in the future, I'd like to move to a new country and experience a different way of life.
So if your English teacher asks, why are you studying English? You can say, my goal is to use English confidently at work. Or, in the future, I'd like to move abroad and English is essential for that. One sentence, clear and honest.
So now we have all the parts: greeting, name, where you're from, where you live, what you do, and one hobby.
That's already a great start. Now, we promised our full introductions, longer versions, so you can hear how everything connects naturally. I'll go first. My name is Michelle.
I'm originally from Mexico City, but I moved to Miami about 3 years ago for work. I live with my partner in an apartment not far from the beach, which still feels a little unreal sometimes. I have one younger sister who is still in Mexico. I work in marketing for a mid-sized company, mostly on the digital side. In my free time, I love cooking. I find it very relaxing at the end of the day. I also enjoy photography, nothing professional, just going out with my camera on weekends and noticing things I would normally walk past. On weekdays, I usually start early with a coffee and try to take a short walk at lunchtime to clear my head. I'm generally calm and fairly organized. In the future, my goal is to travel more and to keep growing in my work. I have a long list of places I want to visit.
That gives such a warm picture of your life. My turn. My name is Chris. I'm from Canada, and I've been living in Barcelona for about 2 years now. I work for a technology company in the customer support team. I live in a small flat near the city center with a friend I met when I first arrived. My family is back in Canada. I have one older brother. In my free time, I love music. I play guitar, not particularly well, but it makes me happy. I also enjoy hiking on weekends when the weather cooperates. On weekdays, I usually start around 9, work through the afternoon, and then try to cook dinner at home in the evening. I'm fairly easygoing, and I'm curious about most things. People say I'm easy to talk to, which I hope is true. In the future, I'd like to keep developing in my career and maybe experience living in a third country one day, just to see what that feels like.
So now you know us a bit better too. So what can you do after this episode?
Step 1. Choose one simple sentence for each part. Greeting, name, where you're from, where you live, what you do, and one hobby.
Step 2, say your introduction out loud. In front of a mirror, while you make coffee, while you walk somewhere, just say the words out loud.
Step 3, write it in the comments below. When you write it, your brain works at a deeper level. You see the words, you feel the structure. It's really useful practice.
And maybe another learner will read your comment and think, oh, I feel the same way. Then you're not just practicing English, you're connecting with someone.
All right, let's gently wrap up for today. Our question for you is, can you introduce yourself in 2 or 3 sentences in English? You can write something like, hi, my name is, I'm from, I live in, I work as, in my free time, I like.
Don't worry about being perfect, just be clear and genuine. That's always more than enough.
If this episode helped you, please like it, subscribe to the Daily English Listening Podcast and share it with a friend who also wants to feel more confident introducing themselves in English.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. You didn't waste it,
You invested it in yourself.
and we're really proud of you for that. This is Michelle,
This is Chris.
and you have been listening to the Daily English Listening Podcast. Take care of your English.
And take care of your heart. Bye, everyone.
Bye.